This is gonna blow your mind. A strategic sea you barely hear about could reshuffle global power. Everybody's investing ships, ports, and influence. Fast. Stretching from India to Myanmar, the Bay of Bengal sits on critical trade routes, energy pipelines, and contested maritime claims. Recent secret naval buildups, port deals, and joint exercises hint at a low-key arms race, submarines, patrol fleets, and logistics bases popping up under the radar. Add competing alliances, major powers testing access and climate-driven migration. Sudden crises could spark dangerous confrontations. The takeaway: it's a simmering strategic hotspot where miscalculation could escalate, so watch the ports, the patrols, and the diplomacy. Peace through awareness beats panic through surprise. For decades, the world's attention has been fixed on the South China Sea, the Taiwan Strait, and the Persian Gulf. But the true fault line of 21st century geopolitics is far quieter and far deadlier. It's a vast, triangular body of water bordered by 1.4 billion people, a region that has been silently transforming into a strategic crucible. This is the Bay of Bengal. The Bay of Bengal, the next global conflict zone. What you are about to discover is a multi-billion-dollar high-stakes game of strategic chess, a game where two nuclear-armed giants, India and China, are engaged in a shadowy competition, constructing secret bases, arming smaller nations, and fighting for control over the world's most vital shipping choke point. This isn't just about ships and submarines, it's about oil, trade, energy security, and who will write the rules for the Indo-Pacific. Why the Bay of Bengal? Simply put, geography is destiny. The bay sits at the physical crossroads of the Indian Ocean and the Pacific Ocean. It is the maritime funnel for over 1/3 of the world's bulk cargo and nearly 2/3 of all oil shipments destined for industrial powerhouses like China, Japan, and South Korea. All of this massive wealth flows through a single, narrow passage, the Strait of Malacca. And the countries that sit on the rim of the Bay of Bengal, India, Bangladesh, Myanmar, Sri Lanka, are the gatekeepers to that choke point. To control the Bay of Bengal is to hold a strategic gun to the head of the global economy. Beyond trade routes, the bay is a treasure trove of untapped natural resources. Vast, unexploited reserves of oil and natural gas lie beneath its seabed, crucial for the energy-hungry nations of South Asia. The scramble for these hydrocarbons is now layering a resource conflict on top of a geopolitical one. China's strategy in the Bay of Bengal is known as the String of Pearls. It's not a direct invasion, it's an economic and infrastructural campaign. China is weaving a necklace of ports and logistical hubs across the Indian Ocean to secure its trade and energy lines, and to challenge India's historical dominance. Consider the key ports: Hambantota, Sri Lanka, leased to a Chinese company for 99 years after Sri Lanka defaulted on its loan. A major foothold just south of India. Kyaukphyu Port, Myanmar, part of the China-Myanmar Economic Corridor, CMEC, offering China a second land-based route to bypass the Malacca Strait for its oil and gas pipelines. This is Beijing's most vital strategic relief. Chittagong, Bangladesh. China is a primary supplier of military hardware and infrastructure to Bangladesh, deepening military economic ties in India's immediate neighborhood. China is actively employing gray zone competition, actions that fall just below the threshold of military conflict, to expand its influence, pulling smaller nations into economic and military dependency. For India, the Bay of Bengal is its backyard, its strategic heartland. China's growing presence is an existential threat, forcing New Delhi to activate its own counter-strategy, the Necklace of Diamonds. This involves strengthening alliances and securing key access points. It is expanding cooperation with the Quadrilateral Security Dialogue, or Quad, the alliance with the US, Japan, and Australia, through exercises like Malabar, which routinely take place in the Bay. But India's most critical assets are its own island territories, the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Lying like a natural aircraft carrier 1,000 kilometers east of the mainland, they are just a stone's throw from the Malacca Strait. Whoever controls these islands can effectively choke off China's access to the Indian Ocean. India is aggressively militarizing them, turning them into forward surveillance and projection hubs. India's underground fortress. The true measure of this great power rivalry can be found in the classified, massive naval projects underway. On India's eastern coast, near Rambili in Andhra Pradesh, lies Project Varsha, a heavily protected underground nuclear submarine base, dubbed INS Varsha. This isn't just a harbor. It's an underground fortress, carved into a mountain, designed to house India's nuclear-powered ballistic missile submarines, or SSBNs. The purpose is stealth. The submarines can slip in and out of the Bay of Bengal undetected by enemy satellites, ensuring India's nuclear deterrent is always safe and viable. It's a costly, multi-billion-dollar undertaking that signals India is preparing for a long, cold war beneath the waves. Simultaneously, India is vastly expanding its main naval base on the west coast under Project Seabird, Karwar, preparing to house over 50 major warships and submarines, providing strategic depth and flexibility for its navy to operate on both sides of the peninsula. China, however, is not building on its own territory. It is outsourcing its strategic footprint. The construction of the BNS Sheikh Hasina submarine base in Bangladesh, completed with Chinese financial and technical assistance, has alarmed India. While officially a Bangladeshi facility, its proximity to India's Eastern Naval Command headquarters in Visakhapatnam is seen as a major surveillance threat. Furthermore, reports continue to surface regarding suspected Chinese involvement in developing military infrastructure on the Great Cocoa Island in Myanmar, a location that would give Beijing an unparalleled vantage point for monitoring India's naval movements, especially those emerging from the Andaman Islands. This is how the secret naval buildups truly unfold. Not with a flag planting, but with a quiet checkbook and construction crew. The stakes and the future. The Bay of Bengal is now the geographic heart of the Indo-Pacific rivalry. The tension is palpable, driven by energy security, the reliance on the Malacca choke point, the blue economy, competition for fish, minerals, and offshore resources. Nuclear deterrence, India's new secret submarine base, and China's growing underwater naval strength. The risk is not a traditional declared war. The risk is a prolonged gray zone conflict. Economic coercion, maritime intimidation, undeclared border skirmishes, and a subtle but deadly naval arms race that could escalate at any moment. The next great global conflict may not erupt over a disputed island in the South China Sea, but silently, beneath the waves, in the world's largest bay. The Bay of Bengal is no longer just a body of water. It is a mirror reflecting the new, dangerous world order. A world where peace is guaranteed not by cooperation, but by a silent, underwater balance of terror. What do you think? Is the Bay of Bengal destined to become a war zone? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dive geopolitical analysis.